The universe sent you here for a reason. Your greatest comeback starts now. Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." And maybe that's exactly why the universe led you here, to awaken something that's been asleep within you for far too long. This isn't just another motivational video. It's a spiritual reminder that your pain, your delays, and even your detours are not punishments. They're preparation. The universe didn't make a mistake choosing you. It's inviting you to rise, to see your story not as a tragedy, but as the setup for your greatest comeback. So as you listen today, don't just watch and reflect. Ask yourself, what lesson has life been trying to teach me through all of this? Comment below and share your insight, because your realization might be the message someone else needs to hear today. Welcome to Spiritual Wisdom, where your awakening begins. 1. Synchronicity as signals. Synchronicity is not a coincidence. It is the universe whispering in a language only the awakened can hear. When a song echoes your inner emotions, when a book opens to a line that mirrors your pain, or when a symbol appears repeatedly in your path, these are not random events, but signs that your inner and outer worlds are aligning. In the realm of spirituality and spiritual awakening, such moments are not accidents, they are messages. They mark a sacred threshold, a point in time when your consciousness begins to synchronize with the higher intelligence guiding your life. Carl Jung called this phenomenon synchronicity, a mirror between psyche and matter, proving that the soul and the universe move together in divine rhythm. Every meaningful coincidence you experience is a thread connecting your personal evolution with the larger pattern of destiny. The universe speaks through subtle patterns, weaving together fragments of your past, your emotions, and your desires to form one continuous message. You are being called home to yourself. When you start paying attention to these signals, life transforms from chaos into communication. The people you meet, the words you overhear, the timing of every event all become reflections of your inner frequency. The universe doesn't shout. It sends gentle echoes that only a quiet, receptive mind can hear. When you begin to awaken spiritually, you notice that everything is interconnected. The missed opportunities, the heartbreaks, and the detours no longer feel like punishment, but preparation. Synchronicity teaches you that every closed door redirects you toward the right one. It reminds you that the universe has always been on your side, guiding you through symbols, numbers, and patterns that appear at the exact moment you're ready to see them. These signs are confirmations that your soul's path is unfolding perfectly, even when your mind struggles to understand it. The moment you start recognizing synchronicities, something profound shifts within you. Your reality becomes alive, responsive, and intimate. You begin to sense that the world is not outside of you. It's within you, mirroring your thoughts and emotions in physical form. A random encounter becomes destiny's nudge. A dream becomes a message. The universe starts to feel like a living presence, orchestrating events with mathematical precision to awaken your awareness. This is the threshold where your greatest comeback begins, not through control or force, but through trust, alignment, and surrender. Carl Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Synchronicity is that moment when fate becomes conscious. It's the universe holding up a mirror, showing you that you've never been lost, only redirected. Every time you recognize these divine patterns, your awareness expands, and you rise a little higher in your journey of spiritual awakening. Life stops happening to you and starts happening through you. You move with the rhythm of the cosmos, guided by invisible threads that pull you toward your higher purpose. So when the next coincidence arrives, a number that repeats, a phrase that pierces your soul, or a moment that feels too aligned to ignore, don't dismiss it. It's a conversation between you and the divine, reminding you that your path is alive with meaning. Synchronicity is not just a sign, it is an invitation. It is the universe saying, you are ready. Ready to return to yourself, to walk through the threshold, and to remember that nothing in your life has ever been random. Everything has been preparing you for this awakening. Comment below, I trust the signs of the universe, if you're ready to follow the synchronicities guiding your greatest comeback. 2. The self is awakening. Beneath the surface of who you think you are, beyond the name, the image, the expectations you carry of something timeless and indestructible is stirring within you. Carl Jung called it the self, the divine center of consciousness that lies deeper than the ego and the persona. When this awakening begins, it doesn't arrive with loud announcements or clear explanations. It begins as a quiet restlessness, a growing sense that something is missing, even when everything seems to be in place. You start to feel life more intensely. The colors seem brighter, the sounds more alive, and emotions rise like waves you can no longer ignore. It's as if an invisible current is pulling you toward truth, asking you to shed what is false and remember what is real. This stirring isn't confusion, it's an invitation to spiritual growth. You're being asked to look within, to face the layers of illusion you've built around your heart, and to meet the soul that has always been waiting for your attention. Jung once said, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes." The awakening begins when you stop chasing validation and start listening to your inner voice. You may feel the tension between who you were and who you are becoming, and that tension is sacred. It's the friction that shapes transformation. Your pain is not a sign of failure. It's the alchemy of your becoming. Every unanswered question, every heartbreak, every disappointment is life pushing you to return to your core. The universe doesn't break you down to punish you. It does so to awaken the self within you, the part that no circumstance can destroy. As the false layers fall away, you begin to sense a deeper intelligence guiding you, a force that has always been there, waiting for your awareness to catch up. This is the beginning of your real comeback, not one driven by ambition or control, but by surrender and alignment. When you stop resisting and allow yourself to be shaped by the unseen hand of life, you move from surviving to truly living. Spirituality is not an escape from the world, but a way of perceiving it with open eyes and a steady heart. As this awakening unfolds, you realize that the self is not something to be reached, it's something to be remembered. It has been quietly watching as you played the roles of your story, waiting for the moment you would notice its presence again. And now, that time has come. The unease you feel is your soul knocking on the door of your awareness, asking you to come home. When you answer that call, your energy begins to change, your perception expands, and your life starts reflecting the truth of who you really are. Beneath every doubt and fear lies the eternal knowing that you are guided, that you are enough, and that your spirit has always known the way. This is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of your return to wholeness. 3. Clearing before returning. When old passions begin to fade and relationships start to feel hollow, it isn't a punishment, it's preparation. The universe is clearing the clutter so you can rediscover your truest self. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And that's exactly what's happening. Life is pulling back the curtains on what no longer serves your evolution. The emptiness you feel is not a loss. It's an invitation to step into alignment with who you were always meant to become. Every silence, every ending, every unraveling is the universe whispering, "Make space for your return." You're not going backward, you're coming home. This is not a rewind, but a sacred return to your essence. Think of the caterpillar that must dissolve completely before transforming into a butterfly. Its stillness, its isolation, even its darkness are part of the process. In the same way, your soul is cocooning now, dissolving everything false so that what's real can rise. Jung taught that there is no coming to consciousness without pain, and that truth reveals why you might feel lost or unmotivated. Your passions didn't disappear, they're being refined. You've outgrown the frequency of your former self, and now life is tuning you to a higher one. The relationships that no longer fit, the dreams that suddenly lose their pull, the emotions that rise and fade, they're all messengers. They're showing you what cannot travel with you into your next chapter. Before the light can fill the room, the dust must be cleared. Before truth can build, illusion must fall. You're not being abandoned, you're being emptied so that divine fullness can take its place. This clearing is an act of love, a cosmic intervention designed to redirect your focus inward, where your power truly lives. So when everything feels like it's falling apart, remember, this is your soul reorganizing itself. The universe sent you here for a reason to awaken, to remember, to rebuild from truth. You are being stripped only of what was never truly you. Your comeback will not be loud or dramatic. It will be subtle, sacred, and powerful, a quiet rising from within. This is the essence of spiritual wisdom, the understanding that every ending is a beginning disguised as loss. You are not being erased, you are being revealed. And as Carl Jung's insight reminds us, your journey is not about becoming more, it's about remembering what you already are. Do you feel this truth resonating within you? If you do, affirm it with faith in the comments. I am ready to clear the past and rise stronger than ever. 4. Unmasking and unsigning the contract. You start to realize that most of your life has been lived under silent agreements. You never consciously signed roles and identities handed to you by family, society, or fear. You've been conditioned to please, to adapt, to shrink yourself for the comfort of others, as if your worth depended on how well you could perform in someone else's story. But spirituality is not about performance. It's about liberation. Spiritual awakening begins the moment you withdraw from that invisible please others contract and dare to give yourself permission to exist without needing external approval. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." That truth hits deeper when you realize that every smile you forced, every mask you wore, and every moment you silenced your needs was a small betrayal of your own soul. The universe doesn't punish you for pretending, it simply waits patiently for you to remember who you are beneath the roles. When you begin unmasking yourself, it feels like standing naked before life. Every false identity begins to crumble: the achiever, the caretaker, the strong one who never breaks. You start to see how much energy went into maintaining these roles, how you lost your natural rhythm, trying to meet expectations that were never yours to fulfill. This unmasking isn't rebellion, it's alignment. It's the quiet recognition that authenticity is not arrogance, it's integrity. You stop asking for permission to feel, to rest, to want something different, and instead start honoring the voice that has been whispering within you all along. As the layers fall away, something extraordinary happens. Peace begins to replace anxiety. Confidence takes the place of fear, and you no longer feel the need to prove your worth to anyone. Carl Jung taught that what we repress doesn't disappear. It hides in the shadow, waiting to be integrated. And when you take off the mask, you don't just reveal your light, you reclaim your shadow too. You begin to understand that your flaws are not failures, but fragments of unexpressed truth. The moment you stop living for approval, you step into your own authority. You become the man who no longer measures his value by validation, but by alignment with truth, with purpose, with the rhythm of his own spirit. Spiritual awakening isn't loud or dramatic. It's subtle, like the soft turning of the earth toward the sun after a long winter. It's a deep knowing that you no longer need to chase love because you have become love in motion. And as you move through this transformation, you realize that your greatest comeback isn't about rebuilding your old self. It's about remembering your real one. Every no to what drains you becomes a yes to your evolution. Every time you choose authenticity over performance, you rise higher in truth. You begin to see that the universe sent you here not to fit in, but to awaken, to show others what it looks like when a man reclaims his soul. This is not just healing, it's resurrection. The masks fall, the old contracts dissolve, and in their place, a new agreement emerges, one written in the language of freedom, courage, and spiritual wisdom. And from that moment on, you no longer live by the world's script. You live by your own truth, a truth the universe has been waiting for you to remember. Leave your like and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next insight that awakens your soul. Type in the comments, "I release the old contract and step fully into my divine purpose." 5. Descent to reclaim power. Nekia. Every true transformation begins with descent. In Jungian spirituality, this sacred process is known as Nekia, the journey into your inner underworld, where the forgotten parts of your soul await rediscovery. When life brings you to your knees through grief, rage, or loneliness, it is not punishing you. It is guiding you back to the lost chambers of your being. The darkness you fear is not meant to destroy you, but to reveal what you've buried beneath the noise of survival. As Carl Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The descent is not a fall from grace, but an act of spiritual growth, a necessary confrontation with the raw and unfiltered truth of who you are beneath every mask you've worn. In these depths, you meet the parts of yourself that were exiled long ago, the innocent child silenced by pain, the wild voice muted by fear, the artist who forgot how to dream, and the life force that once pulsed with wonder. You begin to realize that these fragments were never lost, only hidden. Each emotion that arises from your anger, your sadness, your isolation is a messenger calling you back home. The true essence of spirituality is not about ascending beyond pain, but about entering it with awareness and compassion, transforming it into wisdom. When you face your shadow without judgment, you unlock a doorway to unimaginable freedom. As you navigate this inner descent, you discover that grief softens into clarity, rage burns away illusion, and loneliness becomes the sacred silence where your soul speaks again. What once felt like ruin now feels like initiation. You start to feel your own energy returning stronger, purer, more alive. The child within you begins to laugh again. Your voice grows steady and certain. Your creativity flows with effortless grace, and the life force within you reignites like fire meeting oxygen. The universe didn't send you here to escape the dark, but to master it, to find the divine spark hidden in the very places you tried to avoid. This journey through your underworld is your greatest comeback. Not a triumph of ego or worldly success, but a resurrection of spirit. You are not rising as the same person who once fell. You are returning as someone whole, grounded, and profoundly alive. This is what it means to truly awaken, to reclaim the fragments of your soul, to embrace your darkness as sacred, and to let the light emerge not from avoidance, but from deep integration. Spirituality is not a flight from life. It is the courage to live it fully, to descend into the depths of your being, and to rise again carrying the wisdom of your own rebirth. 6. Collapse as course correction. Collapse is not the end. It is the universe's gentle yet powerful way of redirecting you toward truth. When everything falls apart, it's not because life is punishing you. It's because life is stripping away the illusions that kept you small. Exhaustion and emptiness are not signs of weakness. They are sacred messengers, whispering that the false identity you've been carrying has reached its breaking point. As Carl Jung once said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. What you call failure is often the soul's rebellion against the roles and masks that no longer fit who you are becoming. In that silence after the storm, when everything external fades and all that's left is you, something extraordinary happens. You begin to hear your soul calling you home. That moment of surrender, that pause in the chaos, is not destruction. It's initiation. When the old version of you collapses, resist the urge to rush into fixing it. The ruins are sacred. They hold the blueprint of your rebirth. Sit with your discomfort. Let the silence teach you, and listen to what your exhaustion is trying to reveal. Carl Jung's spiritual wisdom reminds us that true awakening doesn't come from avoiding the darkness, but from walking straight into it. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, he said, but by making the darkness conscious. This is where your real strength is born, not in pretending to be unshaken, but in meeting your shadows with compassion and truth. Every breakdown carries within it a hidden breakthrough, a divine opportunity to meet the self that has been waiting behind the walls of pretense. The emptiness you feel is not a void. It is sacred space being cleared for something truer to take root. You are not being undone. You are being reassembled in alignment with who you were always meant to be. Each moment of stillness, each breath of surrender, invites your spirit to take the lead once more. Life has a way of dismantling everything that isn't real, so that only authenticity remains. The exhaustion, the confusion, the silence, all of it is preparation. You are not falling apart. You are falling into alignment. So when it feels like you've reached your limit, remember that collapse is course correction, not catastrophe. The universe is precise in its timing, compassionate in its methods, and intentional in its chaos. You are not being abandoned. You are being called to awaken. Your greatest comeback does not begin when you rise. It begins the moment you stop resisting the fall. Because in that fall, you finally release the false self. And in that release, you return home to your soul, the place where all true power, purpose, and peace begin. If you find this content touching your heart, please consider becoming a member to receive more in-depth lessons and direct support from me. 7. Centered authenticity and chosen solitude. You begin to center yourself in the quiet truth of who you are, no longer bending your spirit just to be accepted by those who cannot meet your depth. There's a point in every man's journey when he stops chasing applause and starts seeking alignment, when he realizes that authenticity is not rebellion, it's remembrance. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." That's the essence of spiritual awakening, anchoring yourself in an inner axis so stable that no external storm can shake your peace. You start setting boundaries, not as walls, but as gates of self-respect. You say a clear yes when your soul agrees, and an unapologetic no when it doesn't. This simple act of honesty becomes your daily practice of spirituality. And yes, some people will drift away when you stop performing for their comfort, but you learn to let them. Because when something leaves your life after truth enters, it's not loss, it's divine alignment. You begin to see that every goodbye carries a sacred purpose. Every departure opens space for what is meant to arrive. Jung once warned, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." You finally understand that most of your life wasn't shaped by destiny, but by the fear of rejection and the need for approval. Spiritual wisdom teaches you that real peace doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being real. The more you embrace your authentic rhythm, the more life stops feeling like survival and starts feeling like flow. You discover that solitude is not punishment, it's preparation. In chosen solitude, you reconnect with your inner compass, and the noise of the world fades into background music. You begin to hear your own soul again, whispering the truth you once ignored, that your worth was never dependent on anyone's recognition. This is the moment of rebirth. Jung described the slow death of the false self and the resurrection of your truest identity. You realize that being alone is not a sign of emptiness, but of fullness, because your energy no longer leaks through people who misunderstand you. You prefer depth over distraction, silence over noise, realness over validation. Each day, you live more consciously, no longer controlled by old wounds or social masks. You walk differently, slower, steadier, with a quiet confidence that doesn't need to explain itself. That is spirituality in motion. The art of standing so rooted in your truth that the universe bends to meet your frequency. You no longer chase connections, you attract resonance. You no longer beg for belonging, you embody it. Every boundary becomes a doorway to peace. Every act of self-honor becomes an offering to the divine within you. And as you live this way, your comeback isn't loud or dramatic. It's silent, profound, and unstoppable. 8. The Kairos moment, act now. When conformity begins to hurt more than freedom, that is the sacred signal of awakening, the inner lock clicking open, urging you to live from your true center. Carl Jung would call this the Kairos moment, a divine intersection where the soul whispers that you can no longer betray your essence just to belong. It is the instant when the discomfort of pretending outweighs the fear of becoming, when the cost of staying small becomes too heavy to carry. In that moment, life begins to reorder itself, not by control, but by resonance. The energy you radiate, once misaligned and muted by compromise, starts to harmonize with a higher rhythm. Spirituality, in its purest form, is not about escape from reality. It's about alignment with your deepest truth, the quiet revolution of returning to yourself. Each act of authenticity is an act of spiritual growth. Every time you choose honesty over habit, faith over fear, or truth over acceptance, you awaken another layer of your inner being. The universe responds not to the mask you wear, but to the frequency you emit. When you live from your center, you stop chasing outcomes and begin attracting experiences that mirror your vibration. Life starts to rearrange itself, like a symphony finding its harmony after long dissonance. People, opportunities, and blessings appear not as rewards, but as reflections of your alignment. And though this process may shake the old foundations, it is not destruction, but transformation. Not chaos, but divine order, reestablishing itself through you. The comeback, as Jung would say, is not a single victorious return. It is the ongoing act of remembering the self. It happens in quiet moments when you refuse to shrink back into who you once were, when you stop performing and start being. It is a spiritual practice of courage, returning again and again to the place within you that knows peace even when life feels uncertain. True spiritual growth does not unfold in straight lines. It spirals. It revisits old wounds with new wisdom, old fears with new strength. Each descent into confusion becomes a deeper ascent into clarity. The universe doesn't test you to break you. It tests you to show you what can no longer hold you. Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." The moment you dare to look inward, you begin to awaken from the hypnosis of conformity. You see that the comeback is not about regaining what was lost, but reclaiming what was always yours. The wisdom, the peace, the divine rhythm that has been waiting beneath the noise. The Kairos moment is now, this very breath, this very heartbeat, reminding you that freedom begins when you stop asking permission to be yourself. You were not sent here to fit in. You were sent here to rise, to remember, and to reorder your life by resonance. And the moment you live from your center, the universe will meet you halfway, guiding you into the life that has been waiting for your return all along. If this message stirred something in you, let today be your Kairos, your opportune moment to begin your homecoming. Start small. Notice one synchronicity. Remove one mask. Say one honest yes or no, and give 10 quiet minutes to your inner center. Your greatest comeback isn't about perfection. It's about choosing truth over approval, presence over performance, and alignment over exhaustion. one simple act at a time. Which sign from today's video spoke to you most? The synchronicities, the clearing, or the courage to be real? Tell us in the comments and declare your intention. I choose my comeback now. If this helped, like, subscribe, and share so more souls can find their way home. You're here for a reason, and on Spiritual Wisdom, we'll keep walking this path with you. Women who look younger possess a special spiritual quality. As Carl Jung once said, the soul is the secret of the body's vitality. Have you ever wondered why some women seem to defy the passage of time, radiating a youthfulness that goes far beyond skincare or genetics? In today's journey on Spiritual Wisdom, we'll uncover the deeper truth that looking younger is not just about appearance, but about a special spiritual quality shining through. This is about inner alignment, the radiance of the soul, and the power of energy that transforms the way we age. Do you believe that the state of your spirit can shape how the world sees you? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know your perspective. 1. Inner soul shapes. Outer appearance. These women's youthful appearance is not the result of genetics, expensive skincare, or surgical procedures, but is born from a deeper source, a spiritual radiance rooted in the very essence of the soul. Carl Jung often emphasized that the psyche is not separate from the body, but profoundly shapes it. And when inner vitality flows freely, it manifests outwardly as beauty and presence. The soul becomes the hidden artist painting light upon the skin, giving rise to a glow that defies chronological time. A woman who carries peace within herself, who has allowed spirituality and spiritual awakening to guide her path, will naturally radiate energy that shields her from the withering effects of age. This radiance is not superficial, but an emanation of harmony between body, mind, and spirit, a frequency that alters not only how she feels, but also how the world perceives her. The body is like a mirror reflecting the truth of the soul. A woman burdened by bitterness, regret, or unresolved wounds will inevitably bear the marks of those inner shadows upon her face and posture. Wrinkles etched with sorrow, eyes dulled by disappointment, or a heaviness in her presence speak of an unhealed spirit. By contrast, a woman who has embraced forgiveness, gratitude, and love shines differently. Her eyes sparkle with clarity, her smile is alive with authenticity, and even her silence carries warmth and vitality. This is the law of energy, just as the still waters reflect the brightness of the moon. The human body reflects the state of the soul. When the soul is awakened and nourished by spirituality, beauty becomes ageless, flowing from the inside out and touching everything around it. Jung's insight invites us to see that what we call aging is not merely biological decline, but often the result of disconnection from the soul. Stress, resentment, and unprocessed emotions accelerate decay, while peace, compassion, and inner freedom slow it down. Modern science confirms this through the study of epigenetics, showing how thoughts, emotions, and spiritual states can influence genetic expression, turning health and vitality on or off. In this light, the so-called fountain of youth is not a myth, but a state of alignment where the psyche and spirit feed life force into the body, sustaining vitality even in later years. Women who look younger than their age are living proof of this truth, for they have learned to cultivate inner harmony, making their energy field a shield against time itself. This lesson extends beyond women, for men too can embody this timeless vitality by nurturing their souls. To live with spirituality is to release the heavy weights of anger, fear, and resentment, and instead embrace compassion, clarity, and a higher sense of purpose. Every unresolved pain marks the body, but every act of healing restores youthfulness. The choice is whether one allows the years to be written in sorrow upon the face or allows the eternal light within to radiate outward. Spiritual awakening reveals that beauty, health, and presence are not surface qualities, but reflections of the soul's state. Looking young is not the ultimate aim. It is the natural consequence of living in alignment with the spirit, where age loses its power and timeless energy becomes the true expression of who you are. Comment below. My soul shapes my beauty. If you believe that true radiance comes from within. 2. Spiritual alignment against time. They carry within them a unique energy field, an unseen aura that shields them from the destructive effects of time. And this timelessness does not arise from fighting against aging, but from living in harmony with consciousness itself, from embracing life rather than resisting it. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that is precisely the secret these women embody. For their radiance is not a mask, but the natural glow of alignment between soul and spirit, the kind of spiritual wisdom that transforms the body into a living reflection of inner peace. Their beauty is not the fleeting charm of cosmetics or surgical interventions, but a living testimony that spirituality becomes the fountain of youth. That spiritual awakening is the real shield against decay, and that the soul has the power to shape the face more profoundly than any external treatment ever could. They do not cling desperately to the past, nor fear the future. Instead, they choose to rest in the present moment, to carry love instead of bitterness, forgiveness instead of resentment, and serenity instead of fear. And because of this choice, their eyes shine with compassion, their smile carries resilience, and their very presence makes others feel lighter. People spend fortunes on creams, surgeries, and endless products in search of youth. Yet those who appear truly timeless are the ones who cultivate their inner landscape, cleanse their thoughts, nurture their hearts, and maintain an energy field filled with light. As the scriptures remind us, a cheerful heart is good medicine, and indeed, when the spirit is nourished and unburdened, the body follows, radiating vitality and grace, making age appear irrelevant. The irony is that many of these women have endured deep hardships, yet instead of letting pain harden them, they allow suffering to become the fire that refines them, the crucible that shapes them into beings of wisdom and empathy. Jung himself observed, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain," and this truth plays out in their lives. For they have walked through valleys of loss and trials, yet emerged with a softer heart, a freer spirit, and a light that no shadow could extinguish. Their timelessness is not the absence of age, but the transcendence of it, a beauty born not from denial, but from transformation, not from clinging, but from surrendering. To encounter such a woman is to witness a living embodiment of Carl Jung's spiritual wisdom, for she reveals that when the soul is aligned with the eternal, time loses its grip. Her youthful aura is not an illusion, but the natural effect of authenticity, acceptance, and joy. As Rumi said, "The soul is here for its own joy." And when the soul embraces that joy, the body becomes a vessel of radiance, vitality, and grace. 3. Archetype of radiant femininity. There are women who carry within them a timeless radiance that transcends physical beauty. And Carl Jung called this the eternal feminine archetype, a living expression of spirituality and spiritual growth that makes their presence unforgettable. Their glow is not found in cosmetics or the chase of youth, but in the harmony of their inner world, where wisdom meets childlike curiosity, where laughter carries both innocence and depth. When you look into their eyes, you see not just youth, but a knowing spirit that has embraced life with openness. When you hear their voice, you feel the softness of someone who has turned wounds into wisdom and pain into compassion. As Jung reminded us, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And these women reflect that privilege in every gesture, every smile, every spark of energy that surrounds them. Think of the women you have met who seem untouched by time. A grandmother whose hair has turned silver, yet whose joy makes her feel younger than the youngest in the room. A friend in her 40s or 50s whose eyes sparkle with the hunger to learn, to explore, to live with curiosity. Their secret is not a product you can buy, but a state of being they carry, cultivated through presence, passion, and alignment with their soul. In our modern world, where beauty is sold in jars and filters, these women remind us of a higher truth, that beauty is a vibration and youth is a state of spirit. Their glow comes from choosing forgiveness instead of bitterness, curiosity instead of resignation, love instead of fear. They are proof that the soul does not wrinkle and that inner light can outshine the marks of age. Jung taught that archetypes live within us all, shaping the way we experience life. And the eternal feminine archetype is the embodiment of creativity, compassion, care, and intuition. A woman who nurtures these qualities shines without trying. Her presence softens the atmosphere, and her energy uplifts those around her. This is why, when you encounter such a woman, you sense her beauty long before you notice her face, because her aura speaks louder than appearances. Spirituality is the soil from which this radiance grows. Through spiritual growth, a woman learns to embrace silence, to forgive, to celebrate, and to live with a heart that is both strong and tender. A cheerful heart is good medicine, says the proverb. And indeed, the medicine of the soul reflects on the body, turning life itself into an elixir of youth. The truth is simple. Women who look younger are not clinging to age, but living in alignment with life. They find joy in small things, remain open to new experiences, and allow their spirit to keep learning, laughing, and loving. A woman who paints, who dances, who tends her garden, who dreams and dares, is watering her soul. And her soul, in return, keeps her glowing. True beauty is not about resisting time, but about living so fully that time bows to the spirit. And the lesson is there for all of us. If you wish to stay radiant, care for your soul as much as you care for your body. Choose daily practices that feed your spirit of gratitude, meditation, prayer, kindness, creativity, and you will notice how your energy shifts, how your eyes brighten, how your presence becomes magnetic. This is the secret Jung recognized, the spiritual quality that makes a woman ageless. To embody the eternal feminine by becoming fully alive, fully present, and fully true to who you are. Do you see yourself in the archetype of radiant femininity? If you do, declare it boldly in the comments. I embody radiant femininity, and I believe. 4. transformation through shadow integration. Instead of hiding their wounds or burying their pain, women who radiate timeless beauty turn their suffering into wisdom, allowing every scar to become a source of strength rather than a silent weight that accelerates aging. Carl Jung's teaching on the shadow reveals that the darkness we repress, anger, fear, grief, and unhealed memories does not disappear. It festers, draining vitality and dulling the soul. But those who look younger than their years are often the ones who dare to face this shadow directly, integrating it instead of denying it. And this act of courage releases a hidden light within them that shines far beyond the surface. Through practices like active imagination, they enter into dialogue with their unconscious, giving voice to what has long been silenced, and in doing so, they dissolve the poisons of denial that harden the heart and weary the body. The result of this inner alchemy is a wholeness that radiates outward as resilience and beauty, a glow no cosmetic procedure could ever replicate. Consider a woman who has endured betrayal, illness, or loss. While many would allow bitterness to consume them, she chose to ask what the pain came to teach, and with time, her energy field became magnetic. She does not appear younger because she has avoided suffering, but because she has transformed suffering into spiritual wisdom, and that wisdom makes her presence unforgettable. Jung once wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." And this truth explains why some people seem to defy time itself. Their faces carry peace, their voices carry depth, and their eyes reveal a clarity that makes them glow from the inside out. This is not only a lesson about women, but a mirror for men as well. Every unresolved conflict, every grief left unspoken, and every truth buried in silence becomes an invisible weight that ages us long before our time. But each moment of honesty, each confrontation with the shadow, and each step into integration restores a piece of vitality we thought was lost. Aging, then, is not simply a matter of years, but of the heaviness we carry or release. Those who embrace their shadow do not escape time, but they walk through it lighter, freer, and more radiant. This is why women who look younger possess that special spiritual quality. They embody the courage to face themselves fully, to turn darkness into light and pain into power, reminding us all that the fountain of youth is not found in resisting age, but in embracing the wholeness of the soul. 5. Living in sacred time. Kairos. Women who carry within them the gift of sacred time live not under the weight of linear clocks, but within a flow that Carl Jung would have recognized as a deeper dimension of the psyche, where consciousness itself reshapes how the body ages. Instead of fighting against time as an enemy, they befriend it, allowing each moment to unfold in rhythm with the soul's expansion rather than the relentless ticking of Chronos. This state of being, known by the Greeks as kairos, is a spiritual wisdom that slows the outer signs of aging because the inner life is so fully alive, so present, that vitality radiates outward as youthfulness. Jung's words echo here. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And these women embody that privilege with grace, showing us that true beauty is born of alignment with the self, not resistance against the years. You may have noticed women in their 40s, 50s, or beyond who seem untouched by time, not because they hide it, but because they transcend it. They carry themselves with serenity, a kind of light-hearted joy, and an energy that feels ageless. while younger women often appear burdened and weary under the weight of stress, conflict, and fear. Their secret is not in cosmetics or superficial interventions, but in a spiritual awakening that teaches them to live fully in the now, anchored in presence, unshaken by the past, or anxious about the future. When the soul rests in this eternal dimension, the body reflects that inner harmony with softness, vitality, and light. Science supports this wisdom. Stress and fear accelerate aging, while peace, gratitude, and love protect and preserve youth. What Jung intuited in psychology is confirmed in modern biology. The inner state shapes the outer form, and consciousness becomes the architect of appearance. Living in Kairos transforms aging into a sacred unfolding rather than a slow decline. Each line on the face becomes an imprint of wisdom, each gray hair a mark of dignity, and paradoxically, this acceptance makes them appear younger still. For youth is not the absence of years, but the presence of spirit, and when the soul flows freely, the body responds with grace. Their eyes reveal curiosity, playfulness, and compassion, the qualities of the eternal soul that never grow old. This is the spiritual quality that makes them magnetic, a beauty that does not fade with time but deepens, for it springs not from the surface but from the inexhaustible well of being. Jung would have seen in this the emergence of the self, the wholeness that transcends masks and reveals the radiance of the eternal within the temporary. Such women are living proof that youth is not just a number, but an energy, not a surface, but a depth. Their presence reminds us that time is not merely something to be measured, but something to be entered. And when we live in sacred time, the body becomes a mirror of the soul's eternal dance. Have you ever truly lived in sacred time, where every moment feels meaningful and alive? If you've experienced this, share your story in the comments below so others can be inspired. If not, simply write, "I will live in Kairos," to begin your journey into this timeless flow today. 6. Emotional and spiritual wholeness. Women who carry an aura of timeless youth often reveal a deeper truth that Carl Jung described through individuation, the journey toward inner wholeness. When light and shadow, masculine and feminine energies exist in balance rather than in conflict, they create an inner harmony that radiates outward. This balance is not about denying struggles, but about embracing them. And it is precisely this spiritual integration that shines through their features. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And the women who seem untouched by time are those who have turned their unconscious conflicts into conscious wisdom, allowing peace to replace inner turmoil. Their serenity does not come from avoiding pain, but from transforming it. And in doing so, they protect themselves from the stress that ages both body and spirit. In everyday life, you can recognize this quality in women who may not fit the commercial image of beauty, yet captivate those around them with an undeniable radiance. A mother who has raised children with grace, a leader who guides with both strength and kindness, a woman who has weathered loss, yet still smiles with warmth. All of them show that true beauty is born of depth. Their eyes reveal clarity, their presence inspires calm, and their laughter holds the resilience of someone who has embraced life fully without letting its hardships break her. This glow is not bought or manufactured. It is the fruit of spirituality and spiritual growth, of a heart that remains open and a mind that has learned to bend without shattering. Modern science may explain how chronic stress accelerates aging through hormones like cortisol. Yet Jung saw that the deeper source of aging lies in unresolved emotions, unacknowledged wounds, and the refusal to face one's shadow. Women who look younger are not those who avoid suffering, but those who feel it fully and release it, allowing it to become compassion instead of bitterness, wisdom instead of regret. Emotional maturity means you can dive into life's intensity without drowning in it, and this emotional strength becomes an invisible shield against the wear and tear of time. As the old saying goes, she who learns to bend will not break, and this flexibility allows them to age with grace, carrying the vitality of the spirit into every stage of life. To see their secret clearly is to understand that the glow of youth is not an external mask, but an inner alignment. By embracing both softness and strength, both nurturing and discipline, they create a harmony that radiates beyond physical age. This is the essence of spirituality in practice, not as lofty philosophy, but as a lived reality, where every challenge is transformed into wisdom and every scar into beauty. Their lives remind us that youth is not about resisting time, but about walking gracefully with it, allowing spiritual growth to keep the soul alive and the heart radiant. When you nurture wholeness within, you begin to shine in a way that no clock can measure, and the beauty others admire in them becomes the beauty that flows naturally through you. 7. Science supports the mystery. There are women who seem to defy the natural course of time, carrying within them a light that does not fade with age, and modern science is beginning to reveal the truth behind what Carl Jung and ancient wisdom always understood. The soul shapes the body, and the state of the spirit is written upon the face. Studies in epigenetics and telomeres show that inner calm, joy, gratitude, and a life filled with meaning slow down cellular aging, while stress, unresolved wounds, and constant anxiety speed it up like a silent rust eating away at the body. When a woman cultivates peace within herself, when she lives in harmony with her own truth, her biology follows, and her appearance reflects a youthful radiance that no expensive cream or surgery could ever duplicate. Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And this is exactly the hidden quality you witness in such women. They are not fighting against time. They are flowing with it, transmuting every wound into wisdom and every burden into strength, which is why their presence feels lighter, fresher, and more magnetic than their years suggest. Instead of carrying bitterness in their bones or resentment in their eyes, they have learned the art of releasing what no longer serves them, replacing heaviness with forgiveness and emptiness with gratitude. And this inner atmosphere transforms them on a cellular level. A face shaped by constant stress grows hardened, but a face shaped by inner joy softens with grace, and in that softness lies true beauty. It is not vanity, but spirituality that keeps them young. Not denial of age, but an awakening to the timeless energy flowing through them. Look closely, and you will notice their eyes sparkle with curiosity rather than dull resignation. Their laughter is unburdened, and their movements carry an openness that makes them appear years younger than their peers. It is as if their very energy field acts as a shield against the erosion of time, a living testimony to the power of spirit over matter. For men observing this, it becomes clear that this is not just a feminine secret, but a universal principle. Your inner state becomes your outer reality. If stress can corrode your strength, then peace can preserve it. If anger can age you, then forgiveness can renew you. If emptiness can weigh you down, then meaning can lift you up. These women are not anomalies of genetics. They are proof of what spirituality and spiritual awakening can do when lived daily. Their youthful appearance is not only a blessing for themselves, but also a mirror for others, inviting you to reflect on your own life, asking whether you carry stress like a burden or peace like a shield. To truly stay youthful is not to resist the passing of years, but to embody a timeless vitality that grows stronger the more you awaken to who you really are. And this truth is written not only in ancient wisdom, but now etched into the very science of our cells. Leave a like and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss more insights where science and spiritual wisdom meet. Comment below. My spirit is radiant and timeless. If you believe in this mystery. 8. The symbolic life and timeless beauty. What makes certain women appear younger than their years is not found in genetics, beauty routines, or the fleeting promises of cosmetic interventions, but in something far more profound that Carl Jung described as the radiance of the soul. Their secret lies in living what Jung called a symbolic life, where every moment, whether filled with joy or sorrow, is seen as sacred and transformative. This way of living creates a presence that is magnetic, a beauty that cannot be captured by mirrors or photographs because it is not bound by time. Their faces reveal serenity, their eyes carry light, and their energy feels youthful because they have learned to embrace life with meaning. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And women who live symbolically embody this truth with every breath. Their youthfulness is less a matter of outward appearance and more a reflection of inner alignment, of individuation, where all opposites, light and shadow, strength and vulnerability, find balance within the soul. This harmony creates a spiritual wisdom that radiates outward, making them appear ageless. Their beauty is not fragile or dependent on trends. It is rooted in authenticity, in the courage to accept themselves fully. As Coco Chanel said, beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself. And these women prove that true elegance and vitality flow from within, from the soul's alignment with its eternal essence. Unlike a society that endlessly chases youth through products, treatments, and false promises, these women do not resist time, they walk with it. Their vitality comes from acceptance rather than denial, forgiveness rather than bitterness, gratitude rather than complaint. Every wrinkle becomes a symbol of laughter, tears, or wisdom, turning the passage of time into art rather than decay. Rumi's words capture this truth perfectly. The wound is the place where the light enters you, and these women shine because they have allowed their wounds to become portals of light. Carl Jung taught that what lies in the unconscious shapes our outer reality, and women who live with this awareness transform not only themselves, but also the way others see them. Their presence reminds us that timeless beauty is not a privilege of the few, but a gift available to anyone who chooses to awaken. When life is lived symbolically, when meaning is drawn from every moment, the soul aligns with eternity, and the body reflects that truth. What you are truly seeing in these women is not simply youth. It is spiritual awakening. the eternal radiance of a soul in harmony with itself. Throughout this video, we've uncovered Carl Jung's profound insight that the radiance of youthfulness is not merely a matter of appearance, but a reflection of a deeper spiritual quality, an alignment of the soul that shines through the body. True vitality comes from the energy you carry, the peace you cultivate within, and the light you allow to guide your path. As you go forward, remember that nurturing your inner life can become the most powerful beauty secret of all. How do you see the connection between inner spirit and outward radiance in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join our community here at Spiritual Wisdom, where together we seek the timeless truths that awaken both soul and spirit.